Life is Strange is back, once again bringing Max, the original protagonist of this universe. And while this might seem like good news, I have my doubts about what this game might turn out to be. Quickly, remember to subscribe and leave a like to support me in bringing more content like this. Don't get me wrong, I want this game to be great, with a compelling story that surprises us in a good way. But we have to consider the bigger picture, which honestly doesn't look very promising to me. Let's start by talking about the trailer. Personally, I liked how it looked, and although I wouldn't have imagined that the protagonist would be none other than Max from the first game, I did find the whole idea intriguing. Some people comment that the characters look like porcelain and that the overall visual style is not the same, and while I understand that, it doesn't seem like something to complain about. What does seem like a potential problem is if they decide to milk this new game, making something mediocre that doesn't honor its earlier titles. In case you didn't know, the original creator of Life is Strange left the project a long time ago, which was evident in their last release, Life is Strange True Colors. The quality is clearly lower, and doesn't stand out in any way compared to the first games. Both the first Life is Strange with Max and its second part, which, by the way, has no direct connection to the first game other than an occasional cameo, were made by certain people who, I repeat, decided to leave the project. And I want to clarify this because, having played both games, I can say that they are entirely games with very good narratives that connect with you if you let yourself be carried away. Something that, by the way, did not happen to me with their last game. The first games tackled very interesting themes and generally followed a rhythm that kept you hooked at all times, successfully transmitting a lot, and that, of course, includes their great soundtrack. Their latest game tries to maintain that essence, but fails to convey it, in my opinion, and this is clearly due to the departure of their original creators. So, gathering all the information, and once aware of what's happening, everything seems to indicate the following. The new developers tried to continue with new stories within the universe, taking advantage of its popularity, deciding to launch Colors, a game that went unnoticed and clearly shows a significant drop in quality compared to the original games. So, when they saw that things didn't go well, they decided to make a new Life is Strange, bringing back its original protagonist. I repeat, I would love for it to be a great game, but I have several suspicions about this. To begin with, having Max back is great news, but this new detective-like concept, where we have to solve the murder of our friend, makes me doubt a bit about what the final game could be. Let me explain. Life is Strange, or at least how I understand it, was never about that, but about its iconic characters and how realistic they felt. And while mystery and all that were an important pillar in the narratives, I don't think it was ever the main focus. And seeing this new trailer, and seeing that they put a lot of emphasis on solving a murder, I don't know, it doesn't fully convince me. The trailer also tells us how Max decided to leave her powers behind, but as I said before, she uses them again to solve this murder. The thing is, Max's powers would have evolved, allowing her to divide reality into two and move between them, each with certain variations, and in one of them, her friend would still be alive. So it goes like this. Max would try to solve her friend's murder by moving between realities, in one of which her friend would be alive, and together, they would try to prevent her from dying by solving the case. That's what I understood, and well, the powers don't bother me or anything, but rather where the story will go, as I mentioned before. And here's something important to consider. The original creator of Life is Strange commented that both the first part with Max and the second are stories that were already closed. There was no intention to continue these stories. Therefore, this return of Max makes me uncertain about what these new developers can do with her story and the game itself. On the positive side, I think the game looks good. As I said, it doesn't quite have the classic Life is Strange style, but it tries to improve its graphics in some way. And while it differs a bit, it's not something that bothers me, as I said before. The powers and new mechanics that could be introduced in the game could also be interesting to play, and if done well, could be very engaging. But since we only have a trailer, there's not much to say about it beyond all these assumptions I mentioned earlier. So, the final opinion is up to each individual. But personally, I see this new Life is Strange with a lot of uncertainty. I hope I'm wrong, truly. Even if the game is just decent, I would consider it a good thing. But knowing many other cases where ideas are milked until there's nothing left, Max's return feels more negative than positive to me, considering the overall picture. That's what I think about all this. Let's hope the game does surprise us and maintains the essence and quality of its first games, which would undoubtedly be a surprise for me and many others. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this, and if you believe this new Life is Strange could mean something positive for the future of the series. Personally, I doubt it, and unfortunately, if it turns out poorly, it could mean the definitive death of the series. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. I hope to bring more videos on the subject, as I have always liked Life is Strange, and despite everything, they did manage to capture my attention. So that's all for now. I hope to see you next time.